Let me start by giving my sincere thanks to Barry Odom for everything he did during his 2 seasons here at UNLV. Coach and I met with the players a little earlier, and this is a hard day for everyone, as you can imagine. I do want to wish Barry and his wife Tia and their family all the best as they leave a city that they had come to love. Barry arrived here two years ago this month and took advantage of world-class resources that were recently created in this amazing city. Those include the building we're in right now, the Fertitta Football Complex, along with moving to one of the world's largest and best stadiums just a couple of miles from here, in Allegiant Stadium. He made the Rebels a nationally known brand in college football for the first time. The list of accomplishments by our team the past 2 years as long as it is impressive. Many Rebel fans never thought it was possible, but now it has been done here, and I want to thank the Rebel Nation and assure them that this is the new standard for Rebel football. We will look to continue a championship caliber team each and every season as our fan base has embraced the new era of success for Rebel football. One of the accomplishments we're enjoying is going to back-to-back bowl games for the first time ever, and we are gathered here to celebrate our invitation to the Art of Sport LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. It's a long title, and I'm familiar with Gronk. At my previous institution, he played as the tight end. The annual home of the top choice for the Mountain West, and we are honored to be heading to Los Angeles in a week to face Cal at SoFi Stadium. I want to thank Rodolfo Romero and his staff at the LA Bowl for their invitation this morning. This game will be on Wednesday, December the 18th on ESPN, and will be another great showcase for our program and our student athletes. I have full confidence that the Rebels and our fans will show up strong, and we look forward to competing against another big-time program in Cal. Those words, I'll take questions now.
Who's coaching the team?
I will have that decision by the end of the day. I've not made that decision at this point in time, but we'll have that decision by the end of the day.
Is there any chance Barry coaches or not?
No, he's got to get up there and get working on recruiting. Transfer portal opens tomorrow, so he's got a lot of work to do.
Did you feel a chance to keep him, or do you feel that this was just fait accompli and once the offer came, he was going to go?
As I do with a lot of our coaches, I meet with them throughout the year. I've met with Barry on multiple occasions, primarily on the off weeks. But I knew the success that he was having, that somebody was going to come and more than likely put something up there that he couldn't turn down. But he's been 1,000% professional in his approach with me, and I give him all the respect for being a professional and keeping me informed of what was happening over the last 24 hours.
Was there any way to financially compete with the national guys?
If you think we can compete financially,
The price of the contract.
that's a hard number to reach, but we did look at it in full detail. But Big Ten's they got a big deep pocket.
What was the number you had to get to?
I would let that come out later on from them. It would not be from me.
So fans asked the question, did you guys go to Barry, or did Barry come to you at any point during the season to try to work out a raise and an extension and a buyout?
As I just said a moment ago, I always speak with coaches on, in particular in football, on the off week. And I spoke with Barry, and obviously at that time there was nothing going on. But Barry knows, he knew how important it was and how much we wanted him to stay here. But at the same time, the opportunity that he has to go to Purdue in the Big Ten was something that he chose to not pass up.
What effort are you making to retain the coaching staff that he has here?
We'll start a national search, and that'll be dependent upon the head coach. As I've always said, I do not hire or fire any position coaches or support staff. That's up to the head coach, and that whatever head coach we have come in, that will be their determination, their decision whether they keep anybody on the staff or not. I think those are some very, very fine young men up there that are leaders and mentors, and they've done a great job for UNLV over the past 24 months.
Is Brendan Marion one of your candidates for a head coach?
I would say everybody in America is a candidate right now. No, just joking on that part. No, the quality coaches, and we've been reached out to this morning by a lot of quality current head coaches, former head coaches, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, NFL. This is a Barry Odom and his staff has made this an extremely attractive job and opportunity. And we're going to go in the war room and do all of our due diligence as we did 2 years ago to find the right person to lead this program moving forward.
Before Barry Odom, you mentioned how important it was to hire a head coach, a former head coach. Is that still the mission this time around?
That should always be your mindset, is to hire someone with head coaching experience. It is a big jump from coordinator to head coach. You go from basically, if you look at an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you're looking at, kind of on a day-to-day basis of managing about 5 to 8 people in some respects. You jump into the head coaching seats, this day and age, you're managing 40 people, player personnel, player development, GMs nowadays in some programs. But you go into a different mode, and that takes a lot of time.
Do you think that Brendan Marion is ready to be qualified to be a head coach?
I have not sat down with Brendan to talk about in detail on his vision and what he believes a head coach is about and what he needs to do. But I will have meetings with everyone to see, and that'll include some players too, as to what they're looking for, those that are going to be around here. So.
Was it just financial, or you've talked about in the past the importance of support staff, assistant coaches, what coach wants in his program? Did any of that come into it, or do you think it was just they had deep pockets and he was going to go?
I mean, you have to look at the totality of what you feel like you can do and be successful with. Obviously, it's the Big Ten. I mean, they've got the deepest pockets right now. They also have they've got one half of the biggest stage, and the rest of us have the rest of the stage. Between them and the SEC, they've got the biggest stage. So that's always going to be a factor. But we will do everything in our power to bring a coach in here that is excited about being here, continuing the success we have that we've had the last 2 years, and this business, people change. It is what it is, and we'll just keep fighting to be the best UNLV we can possibly be. And where that takes us over the next several years, I don't know. But we're going to be fighting.
So what Barry was making on his contract here, can the next head coach be paid more than that, or is that about the range that you're going to be looking at for the next head coach?
Well, obviously, it's public information, but Barry was set to go up here in January on his current contract. Obviously, we were discussing an extended contract beyond this year, of course, a new contract. We will look at whoever we hire, and we'll base our numbers on that moving forward. Whether it's a current head coach from another school or former head coach, or if we end up with an offensive or a defensive coordinator, we'll be commensurate with their experience level.
Just want to clarify, you were saying you'll know who's going to coach the bowl game by the end of the day, right? But then what's your...
That's the interim coach.
Okay, so you'll identify an interim coach by the end of the day.
Yes.
But then what's your timeline like, I guess, for identifying the long-term?
2 years ago, we did it in 10 days. I hope we can shorten that window simply because the transfer portal opens tomorrow. We'd love to shorten that window. Whether we can or not remains to be seen. But again, this morning we've already had some phone calls on people interested in the job. No formal interviews have taken place. But that's the process to hope to get it done in less than 10 days.
Is that what makes it a little trickier with the transfer portal opening tomorrow? You may lose some kids currently in the program, as well as lose an opportunity to pick up some kids who want to leave elsewhere.
Yes, and you look at it today with the transfer portal, there are schools that are changing 40, 50% of their roster every year. Even when they're staying at a school, they're changing 40, 50% of their roster. So you look at that and say you hire the right coach. He's going to be bringing some with him. He's going to want to retain some that are already here, and you leave that to the coach.
How many calls have you received from folks expressing interest in the job, and has the improved stature of the program and also the growth of the market, has that made the job more appealing?
All of what you said is accurate. How many phone calls I've received, I can't begin to count, but it's more than what I can count on the 10 fingers.
Can you talk about the monetary growth this year with the new contract and the record attendance? What step forward has this program made?
If you take the attendance, you've seen that there's, you see people in the stands that you haven't seen before, other than maybe one game a year. And you see the excitement. And as much as it's hard to quantify at this point in time, just knowing that we had two games this year of 40,000+, which is awesome. And I thank our fans for doing that, and hopefully they'll turn around and come back out and do that again next year. But the true value of what our brand has been this past year with 11 games on national TV, it's pretty phenomenal. First time that we've ever had 11 on national TV. So that breeds a lot of opportunity for a lot of eyeballs that have normally not been on us maybe once or twice a year. And that also gives us an opportunity to maximize the things that we can for our program and this city as well.
Do you believe, despite the loss of Barry Odom, can UNLV imitate the success they had this season?
Absolutely, 100%. We can continue this momentum, and I'll use that word momentum because that's what you have to do, and you have to double down on it right now, and that's what we're going to do.
Anything else?
Yeah, how much of the uptick in stadium revenue from the games, and also the way you guys cut the deal with the Mountain West Conference, how much of that money can be thrown into the coaching staff, a coach, or is it a different budget?
When I get all the game operating expenses from this season, I'll have a better answer for that. But obviously, what we've got coming from the Mountain West, when that comes to fruition here in early fiscal year 27, we'll have a better idea of how we're going to strategically utilize that moving forward, and that will come with a lot of communication between myself, our campus CFO, president, as well as my CFO in athletics.
I'm sure you've been through coaching changes where someone took another job, but the portal wasn't a big thing. So did you have a conversation with Barry Odom? Like, does it get to a point where you're like, please don't take 40 guys?
Please don't take 40 guys where? No, I mean these young men, they have to make the best decision for themselves. Do you ask coaches to do it with integrity? Absolutely. And if one of the players reaches out to him, if 40 players reach out to him, so be it. But I can't say that they won't reach out to coach. But if they better talk to the compliance office before they do reach out, because they have to be in the portal to transfer. So that's a part of the process.
How involved are you, because you went through this with Arroyo, different way, but how involved are you in kind of holding it together as much as you can? Is it your gig, or is that something else you decide today? Like, who's in charge of that?
Who's in charge?
Being a point person for the transfers, potentially. 'Cause
I
I want to talk to someone.
I have a very strong team, and as I told the players earlier today, that they can stop by my office anytime they want to. My door is always open, and that's not just a statement. My staff tells me sometimes I should close my door, but my door is always open to anyone that wants to come by, and I have a lot of respect for our student athletes, and I have a strong team of people that support me each and every day, and we're all available. We're all available for our student athletes, and that's a part, and that's a function of our department and our culture is that if our student athletes have a question, concern, they can come to us at any point in time and ask that question, and we will do our best to help them navigate through what they need to navigate through.
What are you looking for in the next head coach?
You always want somebody that has proven success, and like when I hired Barry, I felt like we needed a flat-out football coach. And when you Google Barry, you see him in a T-shirt, a dirty hat, and a whistle, and a piece of paper, and he's coaching. That's I'm from the old school. That's where I see it. Somebody that's just a flat-out ball coach that wants to to win at a high level, and also be a molder and a mentor to young men to help them grow as well.
Being, in the Group 5 school, can you take potential longevity into account with the next coach, or do you sort of have to, is this sort of something that you just have to deal with? They're going to be successful, they're going to be leaving soon.
You go into every situation with your eyes wide open. As a group of 5, as we are, you're going to have guys that are, come in looking to leave. I can promise you Barry didn't come in looking to leave, but when things present themselves, you have to take care of it. You think about your family too. The next guy will be one that, we hope we can keep him for a long time. But you never know. It is our desire we're going to do the best we can to make UNLV great. And whatever that happens down the road, happens down the road. But there will not be 1 ounce of energy short of working our tails off to make UNLV great on a consistent basis, making us excellent on a consistent basis. And I got a great staff of people that support me every single day, that keeps me going, and I have a wife and kid to support me. So that's a challenge in trying to keep success on the field and on the courts and whatever it may be. But we will continue to fight like crazy to make people want to be here long term.
You just mentioned that you wanted a coach who was old school, whistle around the neck, hat, and I'm wondering, is that pretty much the same criteria this time around, or do you find yourself being a little more flexible in that kind of feature?
Well, there's always flexibility. I mean, I know who motivated me as a player back in my day, and even though I played for the quiet, calm Bill Snyder, but Bob Stoops was my position coach, and that was where the hard nose and Bob Cope too, God rest his soul. But those were some individuals that I respect, and some individuals that obviously I've leaned on over the years in my career. But the coach that comes in here will be one that again has proven success, one that has an opportunity to build upon the foundation that has been set here under Coach Odom and his staff, and then we'll continue to move forward. But we're excited about moving forward. Wish Barry all the best. But we're here for the Rebels, and we've got a big game here in a few days against Cal at the Art of whatever bowl with Gronk, and I'm excited to see Gronk from my days at the previous institution. But I'm really proud of Jackson Woodard and Ricky White, and Jacob DeJesus and Haj Malik and those guys, and Tiger Shanks and all those guys that have worked their tails off to get us to this day coming up on the 18th, and I couldn't be more proud of those guys, of the professionalism that they've shown over the last few hours, but also over the last 2 years of being here and working their tails off to make the brand of UNLV nationally known in the sport of football like it's never been known before.
Obviously, there's going to be some transfers, but for the seniors, those guys that you just mentioned, do you anticipate all those guys playing in the bowl game now, or have you had conversations with those players?
No one said anything at our last meeting about not playing. Those guys are excited about getting an opportunity to win number 11, and I know that's a legacy that they can stand on. And similar to what Coach Odom said the other day, this is 2024 and 2034. A reunion with those guys, a 10-year reunion on the best season in UNLV football, and a group of guys that a brotherhood of guys that is similar to what I have in my days at Kansas State, even though we didn't win anything. But there's a brotherhood of being in that locker room with those guys that you can lean on for the rest of your life.
We know there's a lot of changes in the NIL world coming up. What will those changes benefit? How will those changes benefit UNLV?
We have been working feverishly over the last, obviously, several years now since NIL opened up, that we will put together a package that will be beneficial for the next head coach coming in. We'll finish the package that we were working on for head coach coming in, and how they determine how they want to utilize that's going to be up to them. But they'll have an opportunity in the NIL space And then depending on what the House settlement comes out, we'll go from there.